back. This video will be the little rough patch that I went through the first semester. So I will get a little emotional just because I feel like it's a little trauma that I went through that unfortunately I feel like I haven't gotten over it yet. Even though my baby's bigger now and things are going great, but it's a feeling and emotions that I went through that were really difficult at that time. So for the I don't know how to start it, but so at the beginning, me and my partner decided to try and have a baby. I was 8 months without birth control. I was trying to eat healthy, get prepared, and I always wanted to have a baby. Since a year ago, I wanted to have a baby. Many of my loved ones know that, but it was a decision that we both had to make at that time. So this year, luckily, we both agreed on starting to have a baby, building our little family, and after the talk, we went into action. So I was using an app called Ovia. It would track my ovulation, when I would ovulate, when would it be beneficial for us to have sex, things like that. How I could record my mood, how I felt. They're the same thing. But I was able to record many things in that app, as well as connect with other women that were going through the same thing I was. So we talked about it and went into action in March. It was like my little mini birthday gift. And to my surprise, I started feeling sick the first week of April. I started having a lot of heartburn. I started having, after eating pozole my mom made, I was very sick. I didn't know what was wrong with me. Junior said, "You're pregnant." I told him no, usually because I have read that many times it takes a first time couple that wants to become a parent, it takes them months or even a year to conceive. So I wasn't having my hopes up at all. Junior was. He knew right away he knew I was pregnant. I didn't believe him. I didn't want to get my hopes up. So on April 5th, I took a pregnancy test. Funny story, it was at 7 a.m. I couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to know if I was pregnant or not. I went into the bathroom in the morning. I peed on a stick and I waited. Junior was awake at that time as well. So when I read it and I saw a faint positive, I screamed. He saw it, he screamed, and he was smiling. It was overjoyed. He did not want me to find out without him. So we did it. So he was there, and it was an amazing feeling. We were very happy. It was just an amazing feeling to feel. After that, I messaged one of my very closest friends, and I told her oh my God, I'm pregnant, and I couldn't keep the news to myself. It was news that I always wanted to hear. I always wanted to see. I always wanted to feel or to have that moment for myself and be happy. And it's some news that no one can ever take away from you. So after that, I went, and later that day, I went with my brother, and I told him. He was the third person I told. I told him I'm pregnant. He didn't believe me. He was like, "What? You?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm pregnant." And he was shocked. He wasn't shocked in a bad way, but it was a shock that he never expected me to be pregnant this soon. So his mind was blown. We have we have siblings. They all have kids, but this time around, no one ever expected me to get pregnant, or even have kids because of previous things. When they would ask us, we would say, "No, we're not ready," or "No, not yet." But this was like a little shock to everyone. So when I told my brother, he was very excited. He just couldn't hold his emotions. He touched my stomach at that time, even though it was probably something so small. But he was very happy. He couldn't believe that I was pregnant, and he said that maybe that baby could look like him. Who knows? But he was very excited. So after that, me and Junior decided to let our parents know the following weekend. My idea of how to tell our parents were creating frames. So we created a frame with a little Polaroid picture of me and Junior holding a pregnancy stick and a little sock, and also saying a little banner that said baby Grease, like baby's last name. So it was very exciting to create those, very excited to do those. I was very happy. And then after that, a little rough patch came along. So at the beginning, we went to the store, me and my parents. When I was at the store, I had to use a restroom and I saw spots of blood. So when I saw that, I was very conflicted. I didn't know how to feel. I was scared, especially because it's my first time. I don't know things like that. My sisters, it's been a while they had kids and they never had issues having kids. So it was very hard for me seeing those spots of blood. After that, I came home and I went to the bathroom again. I didn't tell anyone the first time, but the second time when I went to the restroom, I did what I had to do, and then I saw a lot of more blood. So that scared me. I right away came home and told Junior, and I told him we needed to go to the hospital. My mom, my sisters have never experienced that, so right away they also thought the worst. Usually they say heavy bleeding is a miscarriage. I was very scared. Also, with this whole COVID thing, they wouldn't allow Junior in, so I was in by myself, and it was very difficult. I was there for like 6 hours. They were doing tests. They were trying to see my blood, my hemoglobin, the HCG, I believe, that they measure to see if the baby is developing. And they did a pregnancy test, and they saw that I was pregnant. They did an ultrasound, and in the ultrasound, I remember being in the room with the ultrasound tech, and she said that I had a miscarriage. So she said, "Oh, the gestational sac is in your uterus, but there's no baby." And when she said that, it broke me into pieces. I didn't know how to react. I just cried. I do remember her telling me to not say anything to the doctor, to wait till the doctor said something, but that it was considered a miscarriage, and that type of miscarriage is called the blighted ovum, I believe, where you have a gestational sac, but you don't have a baby or a yolk sac. And I just didn't know what to say. I told Junior, I texted Junior and called Junior. It was a very hard moment for me. I felt like I lost a part of me. Sorry, guys. I felt like I lost a part of me, which I did. Well, I thought I did. And it was just very hard. I didn't know what to say, what to think. So I waited for the doctor to explain to me, and he said that there was a 50-50 chance that, like she said, it was a type of miscarriage. And also, there was another 50 chance that the baby might be there, but it was very early. So when we went, when he told me all these things, I asked him questions, and I asked him, what do you think? As a doctor, and you have seen cases, I don't want to get my hopes up, so I wanted to know, I wanted him to be realistic with me. And he told me that the higher chance was that I had a miscarriage. I was devastated. I was hurt. I just wanted to get out of the hospital and have Junior hug me, and I just wanted to feel cared for at that moment. I remember I left the hospital, and Junior was in the car. Like, he ran and he hugged me. I bursted crying. I couldn't believe it. I never questioned why. I never questioned God. I never blamed anyone or anything. I accepted it, but it was hard to accept. It was hard to think that I was not pregnant, that one day I was and then the other day I wasn't. It was very hard. But it was just very hard. After that, my OBGYN contacted me and told me about that she told me the situation. She told me that she wanted to see me in her office in 2 weeks. After that, like, I started building a little hope, but that first week after I found out, it was very hard. I isolated myself from everyone, my family, my friends. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to be in contact with anyone. I wanted it to be just by myself with Junior. I just wanted to grieve on my own. It was a very hard thing. Even talking about it is very hard. Every time I would use a restroom, I would be afraid to wipe and see more blood. But that happened twice, and after that, it stopped. I didn't understand, but like I said, I never questioned God. I never questioned anything. I just was like, if it's time, it's time. If it's not, it's not. Things happen for a reason. I just try to stay strong for myself. And I was like, we can always try again. But I was very hurt with it. Afterwards, when I went to the doctor, my doctor, I prayed. I prayed so hard. I prayed every day. And crazy to say, when I went into the hospital, my doctor's office, I laid in the bed, and next to me there was a cross. I looked at it and I prayed again before the doctor came in and did an ultrasound. I just hoped the baby was there. And to our big surprise, when she did the ultrasound, we found a baby. And we didn't hear at that time, but during the ultrasound, they could see how fast his heartbeat was beating. And she's like, oh wow, he has a very strong heartbeat. So that filled me up with joy. It was very exciting to see. It was a beautiful moment for me.
This is the pregnancy right here.
Oh my
You can
god.
see this flickering. This is the heartbeat.
Oh my god.
So, looks great.
Oh.
So we're just going to do a little turn on it and look at it from this direction.
Oh my god, my baby.
So you can see the heartbeat really well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do a little measurement. And then we can see from here to here. So 7 weeks.
Oh wow.
Perfect, right? What I expect to find. So this is what's called the yolk sac. This is the gestational sac. And this is the pregnancy right here. This little tiny, little peanut. Okay? It's right there. It looks perfect. With that little heartbeat fluttering away. I'll put a little color on it just for the video too. You can see the heartbeat on it.
Yeah.
So, perfect.
Oh my god.
Congratulations.
I feel like I started cherishing my pregnancy way more than I thought I would. Completely way more. And being so overprotective over myself and so overprotective of what I ate, what I did afterwards. I didn't want to go through that again. I was very happy. When I told Junior, he was very happy. It was a journey that, it was a little rough patch in our little journey, but it was very exciting. However, it did come with the little side effects, which was every time I used the restroom, I would be scared to check. Every time I knew I had to use the restroom, that fear, my heartbeat started beating fast. It was like that for the first 3 months. I was always scared to see blood or see things like that. But the doctor stated that blood happens at the beginning because of implantation. So some women do bleed, some women don't. And it's totally normal. So I'm like, okay, I feel good. And afterwards, that's when I started getting confidence. I started thinking about the positive things, not stress about the negative or think about that moment. That moment is very hard for me to talk about. It's very hard for me to not talk about it while crying or being emotional about it. But I feel like that helped me grow a lot. One thing that I know that I did regret doing was isolating myself a lot. I isolated myself a lot from my friends, but I feel that even though I regret doing that because that's where you need the most support, I felt that it was the right choice that I also made because I needed to mentally prepare myself for the best or for the worst. I needed to hold myself in control and process things and take deep breaths and understand that things happen for a reason. So I do thank all the friends that reached out to me, that still talk to me regardless if I hit them up or not. If I went MIA, they still reached out to me, they were still there for me. So I really appreciate those friends, because even though I didn't tell them what I was going through, I didn't tell them how hard I was grieving, or how kind of depressed I was at those times, they were still there. And even afterwards, they were still there. So that's my little rough start of how I found out, how I found out, how I also found out I might not had a baby, and how I found out I had a baby. So it's very exciting, and a lot of people go through it. That's how I know that at that moment I felt alone. I felt like it only happened to myself. I didn't have anyone to identify myself with. I felt like I was all alone. Even though I had Junior as my support system, even though he took care of me very much, but it's difficult to know that in my ideal mind, and not ideal mind, but in my mind, I thought I was the only person in the world that went through this. I never heard about a miscarriage being a blight ovum. So it was very hard to process that. And that's something that encouraged me also to do these videos, so women can see that they're not by themselves. A lot of things happen. So a lot of misdiagnosis can happen, and unfortunately, it can cause trauma a little. It can cause you to go through a lot of emotions at that time, at the moment, but things can turn out to be great. Things can turn out to be good. To not lose hope, and for whatever situation, if you're struggling on having children, or if you're going through things, don't give up. Things happen for a reason. It's just wait for your timing, and it will all be worth it.